Welcome back. It's time for the finance show. Let's get right into it. Number one, non-farm payroll time. Let's see how jobs are doing. And they're doing good. The economy is sailing along. 275,000 versus 200,000 estimated new non-farm jobs created. However, unemployment was a little bit higher than you'd like, 3.9% versus an estimated 3.7%. Hourly earnings were up 0.1% month over month versus a 0.3% month over month estimated. Manufacturing jobs down 4,000 versus up 10,000 estimated. And finally, a few revisions from the last 2 months of, non-farm payroll reports, down 167,000. So they keep doing this. It seems like they keep overestimating, the non-farm numbers and a bunch of their numbers. And then they're revising it. And, the economy isn't looking as good as you would expect, It's not good to lose 4,000 manufacturing jobs in a month when you're expecting it to be up 10,000, right? Hourly earnings are not keeping up with what they want. And, unemployment's creeping up and non-farm is, it's not great. These numbers, I don't know why the market's up. These numbers aren't phenomenal. Like, they're not great numbers. But to be honest, all of the investors, nobody gives a shit about your hourly earnings. In fact, it's a good thing that they're lower. That, to these people, it's a good thing that you make less money. And I agree. But, these are not the most promising numbers ever, I would say. But, a win is a win. 275,000 versus 200,000 jobs created, which is probably, when they end up revising it, it'll probably be like 180. So they'll probably be under the estimate, if I had to guess. But, if we have to take these numbers at face value, sure, it's an okay, report for this month. And let the market go up. That's it. You look at NVIDIA, it's down today, which is surprising. But, you got to give them time to breathe. They've got to breathe a little bit before it reaches 1,000 and then beats out Apple in terms of market cap. That's what's got to happen. Next up, Victoria's Secrets. They just reported earnings, and oh my God, they're bad. They are not great. Well, I think the market might have overreacted a little bit, but, the stock's down 30%. It's the worst drop they've ever seen. Let's look at the actual numbers. So for Q4, net sales are up 3% to $2.08 billion with $2.58 of earnings versus $2.46 estimated. So look, they beat. It was a beat on earnings, which is okay. But what people, what they got scared about is the guidance. So for Q1, they guided revenue to be down mid-single digits. So I'm saying 6-7% probably. They were estimating it to be down 1.9%. So, that already scared investors. And then they showed off their 2024, the whole year, revenue guidance of $6 billion versus, they were expecting $6.2 billion. Look, these numbers aren't great, but, they're not, I don't think they're that bad. They're okay. It's showing, a stagnant business that can't really rejuvenate their business because their whole plan was that they're going to restart, they're going to get away from all the controversies, the CEO being, kind of chill with a little guy on an island, he was chilling a little too much on an island. He was taking too many vacations with the private plane to the private island. And you know what I'm talking about. But, they had this whole plan, they're a sexist company, #MeToo, right? So they're like, let's rejuvenate. Let's get, some men in women's underwear, with their dicks poking out. Maybe this will help, because there's so many trans people that they're expecting that to, fix. If you get enough men to buy women's lingerie, maybe it'll save your business. But while you do that, you kind of alienate all the, the sexy people, right? All the attractive people don't think Victoria's Secret's cool anymore, right? Because, you got all these, let's be honest, these uggos on the billboards. You don't need a 300-pound, obese activist overweight influencer, right? To be modeling for your underwear when most of your people, they're pretty skinny. Most people aren't 250 pounds. So that might be a reason why your sales are down. I don't know, whatever. Does the market overreact? Probably a little bit. It's gonna go back up. It'll rebound a little bit, I'm assuming. But these numbers, they don't seem terrible, but, they're not great, okay? They're not like Gap, let's say. Gap, which just, beat their earnings. They came back to growth. See, their strategy's working. Even while losing Ye and, the Balenciaga collab, the whole thing. But, they're rebounding. Victoria's Secret's not. And investors aren't happy. Speaking of people not being happy, JT, Justin Trudeau, my main man. Oh, Justin, this is a bad thing. You can't be doing stuff like this. He's increasing the alcohol tax. People don't have enough shit in their life, right? Nothing's fulfilling for people. Scrolling on TikTok after working your 9 to 5 isn't making people happy. You know what makes people happy? 3 shots of Patron, a Smirnoff Ice, a Bud Light for certain people, Now Bud Light's cool again, so it's okay. He's increasing the alcohol tax by 4.7%, which, doesn't sound like that much. Conservatives are saying this is going to cost Canadians $100 million in additional payments for the next 2 years. So for 2024 and 25, this will cost $100 million to Canadians for alcohol, which is a travesty. JT, come on. Your re-election's coming up soon and you're pulling this shit? Buddy, get it in your head. People need an outlet. If you're going to ban Zims, if you're going to ban, cigarettes, and there's none of that, what are you going to do? What are people going to do? They're not paying $30 for, a 3.5 of weed. They're not paying $80 for that. What people want and what people need is, a Molson, a fucking Coors Light. That's what people want. You can't increase the tax. People don't have shit. You take away the alcohol. First, you get, the public health people saying, even one drink, or you should only be drinking twice a week, or 2 drinks a week, or whatever the fuck they said. And that already outraged people. Now you're just angering people. Stop angering Canadians. They don't have shit. We don't have shit anymore. We don't have guns. If people don't have outlets, people are going to get mad. It's going to become Six Flags Atlanta up in here. That was, that's a crazy story about, at Six Flags opens a new park in Atlanta, and people get shot and they have to close it down the first day. That's just the reality. You can't have shit anymore. This is what's gonna happen if you increase the tax on alcohol. Because in Canada, we don't have enough guns to shoot people, right? So you don't have that outlet of shooting up schools, or at least not an easy outlet to shoot up schools, right? What are people gonna do? People don't like smoking. It's too, it's too out there. It's too druggy. People like drinking. Everyone likes to drink, and that's the only outlet. And if you up the prices $100 million, JT, you could have just printed $100 million. You could have, ArriveCan would have paid for all of it. But no, he's got to do something. This is the first time I ever disagree with Justin Trudeau on something. You can't increase the alcohol tax. You're taxing people too much. They can't afford. They're eating cereal for dinner. This is what people are doing. They're putting vodka in the cereal. That's how, they cope. But now you can't even have vodka in your cereal. You can't have shit anymore. Next up, I got Novo Nordisk, Europe's favorite stock. This stock has been a rocket. This stock has been on fire, and I love it. Turns out they've been testing a new weight drug. It's called amycretin. They could have came up with a better name than amycretin. But they just finished phase 1 trials. Turns out people were able to get 13.1% weight loss in 12 weeks. Well, that doesn't sound like that much. Wegovy, which is the current obesity drug that's out right now, only got 6% weight loss in 12 weeks. So, this thing's going to be bigger. This thing's going to be bigger than Wegovy. It's going to be bigger than Ozempic. And to add to this, breaking news right now, the FDA just approved Wegovy for heart health benefits, because it turns out your heart does better when you're not 1 billion pounds. People at the FDA just got that, you know. So they're saying, well, because it improves the heart health, right? Now you can get your health insurance on it. You can get Wegovy with your health insurance now. See, at least America knows what people want, right? They're moving in the right direction. Weight loss drug on, subsidized health insurance, on Medicaid, Medicare. That's what you need. Don't tax alcohol. Give people weight loss drugs, right? So yeah, their stock's up 8%, already on top of another 26%, and that's above like another, 200% from last year, right? So Novo Nordisk, one of the biggest companies in Europe right now, and, all these fatties keep hogging the drugs. So people who actually need Ozempic, they can't get it, and they can't build out manufacturing fast enough, right? So now they're getting this new drug that's even better. Don't work out, just take the pill, you'll be fine. It's only $1,000 a month. Would you be willing to pay $1,000 a month to save your life? I really because I can't wait to see people, right? They'll smoke cigarettes, and then they'll take Wegovy, right? To lose, my heart's hurting because of, all the cigarettes. Let me just take my Wegovy injection. But that's what it's going to come to. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have morbidly obese people smoking cigarettes while taking Wegovy, while not paying for it because it's under Medicaid. That's Obamacare's going to pay for your weight loss drugs. Fat ass. Listen, fatty. Listen. You don't need to work out. Stop trying to work out. Stop trying to diet. You know what we got for you? Wegovy. And now you can be a Victoria's Secret lingerie, influencer. You can be a model too. Just take the injection. Take it for a couple weeks, 12 weeks maybe. Lose 13% of your fat. Not even fat, just 13% of your weight, right? Smoke your cigarettes, pop a Zen. You'll lose weight, you'll look phenomenal. You'll look great, and you'll be able to, become the new star of the, you'll be a new angel for the Victoria's Secret, runway. Finally, I got Saskatchewan and Ottawa, in the federal government. They're kind of beefing right now. Because, listen, JT, he's got this great idea that if you tax carbon, right, you put in a carbon tax, people will stop driving, which, he's probably right. Is he right? No, not at all. He's not right at all. But who cares? Who cares, right? Let him do what he does. But basically, apparently paying an extra 30 cents at the pump is going to make you go electric. Just instead of spending 30 cents a liter extra, just pay an extra $50,000 for an electric car. That's the deal. That's the trade-off, and that's what he thinks is going to get people to go electric. But turns out Saskatchewan, right, and the whole, oil-producing region that's been subsidizing all of Canada's federal revenues for the past 3 decades. Turns out Saskatchewan's saying, fuck you, JT. I ain't doing shit. We ain't paying shit. That's what they're saying. They don't want to pay the carbon tax. They're saying it's unfair. And, yeah, it definitely is. If you're subsidizing, right, if you look at the equalization payments, which, for those who don't know, is when the federal government gives money to all the provinces based off of, their deficits and how much they need, right? Who's getting the most money? It definitely ain't Alberta, and it ain't Saskatchewan or Manitoba. Turns out the three provinces who are producing the most amount of money for the government, turns out they don't need extra money. Turns out they're giving away all their money to the rest of Canada, and all that money is going to Quebec and Ontario, basically. Quebec's taking like $20 billion in these equalization payments, while Alberta, they're just giving it away. So, Saskatchewan's putting their foot down. They're saying, I'm not paying shit. It doesn't make sense what you're doing, right? It's not fair. It's not fair to the big oil companies if they got to pay a carbon tax. You want to go electric? Make better electric shit. That's what they're saying. That's all they're saying, okay? They're not the villains here. You're the villain for buying their gas. I don't care if you're too poor to afford anything else. It's your fault. You're causing the climate crisis. It's not a BP oil spill. It's not a big pipeline exploding. It's your fault for not recycling. Even though all that recycling goes in the garbage, but we're not going to look at that. Anyways, so the economy is doing okay in America. It's not perfect. Joe Biden can tout about, all the jobs he's created, but, they're not great. These numbers aren't great. I don't know why the market's up. The Fed's going to look at this and go like, oh, hell yes. Let's not, The market's pricing in 95 bips of rate cuts, by May. I'm like, if they don't start now, it's going to get bad. You see the trends. The trends are, they're starting to get alarming. And at some point, they're going to have to accept it. I wonder if Jay Powell thinks that, if he cuts rates now, it'll affect it tomorrow when, no, not really, When you're going to have all these people re-upping their mortgages, right? But their mortgage rate's gone up 10x, it's going to be an issue. So yeah, non-farm payroll, that was a beat, sure, but I don't like seeing unemployment go up. I don't like seeing hourly earnings go, not as high as they expected. And I really don't like seeing manufacturing jobs go down because you know what that's going to mean? That means they're all going to start voting Republican. You're going to have Michigan people vote, people in Detroit voting Republican. And we can't have that. Joe Biden, you got to look at this. You got to start locking in. You got to start fixing manufacturing or else you're going to start losing people to Hitler. Hitler's going to win, right? Anyways, that's all I got for the finance show. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time.